Hey everyone, it's Jayme and welcome back to my channel. So sorry I didn't really upload over this past weekend, to the 14 people who follow me. The reason for that was this past weekend I was actually at a wedding up in Maine. And that's what really inspired me to do this build here, which I'll get into a little bit. Instead of doing a video where I talk about art history or some kind of media that I really like, I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself and also just kind of about the wedding I just went to and the inspirations for this build. So, like I said, I was up in a wedding up in Maine, and as you all know, Brittleton Bay in The Sims 4 is based off of New England. Specifically, a lot of the architecture and landscape seem to really be more inspired by the climate and kind of looks of Maine. So yeah, so that's really where I got the inspiration for this, because I was literally surrounded by literally like a real life, like the real life inspiration for Brittleton Bay. I was up on Bailey Island, which is a very tiny island, so small that all the locals knew that this wedding was happening, and they all knew that we were all there for it. Literally every time we went anywhere, and if we mentioned the wedding, they'd be like, oh, the wedding on the beach. So everyone knew why we were there, which was kind of funny. But I grew up in a very small town, so I can understand that. Also, that where you just know everything that's going on. So yeah, so I decided I really love Brittleton Bay in The Sims 4 because, for one, I grew up in New England. I live in New England currently. So I have a special love for it, because I'm like, yeah, that's like my home. I know what Brittleton Bay is. I've been there, I mean, not that Brittleton Bay is a real place, but you get what I mean. And I love building in it. I don't build in it as much as I would like, and I don't really know why. I think partially just because whenever places have a lot of pre-made lots, I get a little scared. Like, I hate to be that person to come in and knock down all the lots, even though I know no one in The Sims knows, but whatever. So when I was up there, I just got so much inspiration. I saw all these beautiful New England style homes. I saw a lot of beautiful seaside Victorians, and as you know, if you've watched my channel, I love Victorians. Yeah, so the idea for this little park here area was, even though the wedding I went to was a wedding on the beach, I really just wanted to make a cute little park here and, have a place where animals and families can come play. I was building this little, like, river thing. I know it doesn't really make sense because the river pond, it's more like, I guess, a pond. It really is just kind of located in this spot and does not exist on the outside of it, but hey, I still really love it. As you know, right now it looks so, like, whenever you're making a pond in The Sims, if you're using like what I'm using, which is the pool tool, it always does not look good at the beginning, but once you start putting vegetation around it and rocks and stuff, it really comes to life, and I'm really glad and happy with how this came out. What I really wanted was just a very beautiful bridge, because I was thinking in this park also I was going to have a wedding arch. So I was thinking, oh, this could be a really cute place to get like photos of your Sims on their like wedding day and stuff. So that was that idea. Also, every day we drove by this very large yard, and it had a little bridge. I wasn't able to recreate that bridge that I saw, but that was kind of the inspiration. It was just like the cutest little bridge, and it just melted my heart, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so I had so much fun at this wedding. I don't usually like weddings, if I'm being honest, and I think that's because most weddings I've been invited to in the past few years have been weddings for people that either I only know one or two people, or I'm just like friends with like the bride or the groom, so then I end up going and like not knowing anybody there. But here, even though I didn't know too many people at this wedding, I just still had just so much fun. For one, I love Maine. I love the landscape. I love being by the ocean. So just like landscape wise, beautiful. On top of that, because it was a wedding in Maine and I don't live in Maine, that meant, you know, I had to get a hotel room and got to spend the weekend. I actually left on Friday morning, so I got to take Friday off from work. So I kind of got like a little mini vacation out of it, which was really nice. Work's been very stressful, so it was really nice to just take some time off and just like not pay attention to my phone or my work email. Who knows, I'll come in when I go back to work on Tuesday, because I have tomorrow off too. It ended up just working out that way, since I'm working for someone this upcoming Saturday, so they said I had to take a day off. And I was like, ooh, I'll take Monday and get a 4-day weekend. So I'll come in on Tuesday and everything will be a mess, but who cares? We'll deal with that when I get there. But so like I said, I was having so much, it's so beautiful. I got so many great photos of the landscape. I didn't really take any photos at the wedding, just because at the ceremony we were there was a request made by the bride and groom not to take any photos. I know they meant just for the wedding ceremony itself. However, I just kind of, you know, was like, I just won't take any pictures at the like reception party either, you know, just. And then also, like, with how much money they were probably spending on the photographer, it kind of felt like, you know, a little rude to be taking my own photos. So, you know, made sure not to take any pics. But I took so many pictures from just around the island, and like I said, just so beautiful. And then, you know, when I came back, I knew I was like, I just have to make something in The Sims to capture that beauty that I just love so much about Maine and the Maine landscape. But yeah, also some things that I'm just gonna, like, this past weekend, or so far June has been, it kind of started off like on a bad foot in my opinion. At the beginning of June, I found out at work they had to cut my hours. Some people were being let go for some really unfair reasons, but I won't get into that. I'm not here to talk about work, but the rest of June so far has been really good. So this past week also, while I was on vacation, Bastille released their, or Bastille, I always want to call them Bastille, but I think it's just pronounced Bastille, because that's what you call the prison that they're named after. But either way, they released their new album, Doom Days, and honestly, it is one of the best albums I've ever heard. I'm gonna even go, it's probably one of the best albums of 2019 so far. And in 2019 we also got Marina's recent album, Love and Fear, which I also loved. But Doom Days was such a good album. If you guys don't listen to Bastille, or only kind of, and you know, not very often, or if you haven't checked out their new album yet, do it. It is so good. I was listening to it the entire weekend, which was funny because I didn't bring I knew I was bringing my computer so I could buy the album when it came out, when I got to the hotel room on Friday, because, you know, we left Friday morning, I didn't have time to buy it, but I knew when I get to the hotel room I would buy it. So I was listening to it on my phone, on YouTube. And if you're wondering why I didn't buy it on my phone, I still use an iPod. I'm living like I have an iPod Classic. That's like how far behind I'm in on like music technology. But so I bought it on iTunes as soon as I got to like the hotel room and I settled in. But I had been listening to it all the way up on the ride to Maine. It was so funny. I like brought my iPod, did not touch it. Was obsessed with the album so much, just listening to nonstop on my phone. And it's really funny because we got to a point in Maine where I like had no service, yet I was still like just like refreshing my phone, like, I gotta listen to this song for the 8th millionth time. So yeah, if you guys have not listened to Doom Days, I'm here to plug it. It's so, I don't even know how to explain it. I just loved it so much. But yeah, so then we when we first got to the hotel, we didn't really do much that first night, except we did go to a kind of, it was called the unrehearsal dinner. So this wedding was pretty laid back. It was a beachside wedding. Not that many people, are like maybe 40 of us. And it was kind of small, and it was a little untraditional in some ways, but in some other ways still pretty traditional. But it was just such a beautiful ceremony. and just being on the beach was really nice, and looking out onto the water on the ships. Oh, amazing. But the night before the wedding, there was the unrehearsal dinner. Was the groom's mother just wanted to throw like a little dinner for everyone, which was so nice of her, because like she probably spent a lot of money on it, I'm not gonna lie, because she was pretty much paying the restaurant to have kind of like an open bar for us, in the sense that she had a constant tab going. I don't even want to know how much we spent. Plus she like paid for all the dinner stuff. It was just really nice of her. So you know, that was fun. And then the wedding itself was at like 4, I think. So you know, it's kind of like a more afternoon wedding. So before the wedding, we got to go around the island, which the island is not very big, pretty small. You could pretty much see the whole island in one day, which was nice. It's nice to be able to just, you know, because when you go on vacation, or I know this wasn't really a vacation because it was a wedding, but still, I'm counting as a vacation because I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to take a vacation. But you know, when you go on vacation, you just want to like sightsee and see everything. And you know, if you go to a big destination place, there's so much to see. Well, here, kind of, there wasn't too much, in the sense of it was a small island. It like took it like something like 7 minutes to like drive the whole thing. But yeah, we got to the end of the island and got to where it's called Land's Ending. Beautiful shore, and you can see these boats sailing on by, and there's a cute little gift shop. I didn't get anything, but I just loved being outside and by the water. And then we went to a little art gallery also, which, you know, I did not expect to find one out there. And you know, as you may or may not know, I am also a practicing artist, so I loved just, you know, it's kind of like looking around and looking at this local artist's work. And you know, then we had the wedding, and then afterwards we went to the venue where they were having the reception. And the reception was at this beautiful, it used to be a library, it wasn't a library anymore, but it still had a lot of the architecture, and it was still, all the centerpieces were like book themed and stuff. It was so, once again, just like super cute, super fun. And like where the building was, or like the building itself, was so beautiful, and the food was really good. And I just loved the reception. And everyone had like a really fun time, in my opinion. You know, but yeah, like I said, I think because in the past few years, all the weddings I've been invited to, I haven't known anyone other than maybe like the bride or the groom, or I only know like a handful of people there. I usually kind of just like keep to myself and don't have too much fun. And here, once again, I didn't know too many people, but it was just so much more fun this time. So I actually have another wedding coming up in October. I'd have to go to Minnesota for that, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm going yet, solely just because I've never traveled to Minnesota. I know nothing about Minnesota. I'm just like, how do you travel to Minnesota? I know I'm gonna take a plane, but I'm like, do I have to rent a car when I get there? Can I rent a car? I'm not 25 yet. Will they rent me one? I don't even know. So yeah, so there's a lot of details I still need to work out if I'm going to that one, which, I mean, it's in October, so I have time, but I'm still kind of like, October, Minnesota wedding, you know, also because I'm like, what's in Minnesota? I mean, of course I know it's in Minnesota. A good friend of mine lives in Minnesota, which is why I was invited to a wedding in Minnesota, and I am excited for it, but once again, I'm just kind of like, what's in Minnesota? I don't even know. So let me know any like funny wedding stories you have, or if you've ever been invited to a wedding that you're like, I don't know if I should go, or if there's ever just a wedding that you're like, how do I get there? Because that's kind of like where I'm at. I'm like, Minnesota? What's in Minnesota? I don't even know. So, or if you're from Minnesota, let me know let me know about Minnesota, because if anyone was to ask me right now what I know about Minnesota, and it's like absolutely nothing. If I'm gonna be honest, out of all the states in the United States, I can't say I ever think about it. To say it's my least thought about state feels unfair to say, because I don't even think about, like, if someone was like, oh, Minnesota, for a minute I'd be like, what the fuck is Minnesota? And then I'd be like, oh yeah, it's a state. No offense to anyone in Minnesota, I'm sure it's a great state, I just know nothing about it. Sorry. But yeah, so as I was making this lot, I was thinking about what used to be here. It was really just kind of like this big open field where animals could play and stuff, and there was like some stuff for little kids, and I was kind of thinking, okay, how can I make this accessible to multiple generations and multiple age Sims? So here I'm working on the bridge, and I was trying to figure out how to switch the run of the wood grain, but then I realized, no, I was fine with the way I was actually running. So, and I don't know why I didn't cut more of this out. Oops, sorry. But some of the things I was putting in this build is I put that big pirate ship that kids can play on, as well as I put an easel. See, I'm putting the easel down now so you can work on your art skill. I end up also putting a chess table so you can work on the logic skill. And then I also, put down the wedding venue kind of area so that you can get married. Really, I just wanted this to just be accessible to many different ages of Sims, because I kind of realized with the way EA built it, it was really only accessible to, like, if you're going there to play with some pets, or if you were a child, which isn't like bad. I feel like that's generally what parks are for. But here I just, if I'm gonna make a community lot, I really just want it to be accessible to as many Sims as possible, not really interested in making a super exclusive park, But here I'm putting down this, I love this swing set. It came with Seasons. Seasons, one of those packs that if someone was to ask me how I felt about Seasons, I would say, it's whatever. But in actuality, I use it so often. And I think the only reason I feel kind of about it is I think some of the holidays I just think are so bad. I know we can go through and delete them, but I don't want to dedicate that kind of time just out of like pure bitterness. As well as the seasons themselves. Like, I love the idea of having different seasons in The Sims, because being stuck in like a perpetual summer is kind of terrible, if I'm being honest. However, one of my biggest complaints about seasons, which I think is a very unfair complaint that I will admit, is I just don't think the seasons last long enough. And that's completely just me. And then on top of that, I hate winter. I've never loved winter. I live in New England, and I don't ski, so I've never felt any affinity towards like winter at all, because I don't do winter sports. I don't go out. I literally will sometimes refuse to go out solely just because it's winter. But my favorite seasons being like fall, spring, and summer. I kind of I like them all. Fall's definitely my favorite, and then spring and summer, I'm kind of like, yeah, those are great seasons. And then winter comes along, and I'm like, ugh, what a terrible time of the year. And then I'll admit, snow is pretty, but I don't think it's pretty enough to justify its means, which is funny to be winter can't justify, it's a season, it doesn't need to justify, it's a part of nature, but it's not pretty enough for me to care, if I'm being honest. But with that said, so I just love fall the most, which is why when people are well, winter is beautiful, I'm like, yeah, but fall's prettier. But I think that's maybe why my only issue, it's funny, the thing I hate about seasons is that the seasons change, which is really funny. But I love all the stuff that comes with seasons. Seasons is a great I use it all the time. It's funny because sometimes people ask me oh, how do you feel about seasons? And I'm like, I don't like it. And then I go and build a sim, and only we'll pick things from seasons, and we'll only take build mode items from seasons, and I'm like, okay, it's not bad. It's a great pack, but I'm just bitter about winter. And I think that's actually a testament to how good this pack is that it replicates winter so well that I get mad when winter comes along in my Sims game. I'm like, fucking hell, it's winter again. So, you know, like I said, I'm just, they're, ignore me when it comes to talking about seasons. But yeah, so I think right now we're gonna start getting into the wedding part stuff. But yeah, speaking of that bathroom, just because, you know, your Sims gotta go and they gotta go, like, and it would be, and like, it's also one of the requirements to have a bathroom. So like, didn't have much of a choice, but still. But yeah, I love where I put that little like boat thing that the kids can play on. I know there's also like the spaceship one. I don't really care for the spaceship one, the pirate ship one. Like, when I was a little kid, if they had those at my local park, that's pirate ship, I'd go ham. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, so this wedding area, I really love this wedding area. It's not super great. It's kind of, you know, it's your basic wedding Sims area where, you know, it's just got this little aisle thing. It's gonna have some chairs all around it, and then I have these lights because I'm actually planning on doing a wedding episode soon. Won't tell you for who. You'll just have to see when that happens, I guess. And I was just, you know, I just loved the idea of having these like lights up. As you'll see, those lights that come from City Living. And because, you know, it's funny, I always talk about like what my dream wedding is, and then like people are always like, but Jayme, you always say that like marriage is too like heteronormative. I'm like, let's not talk about this right now. We're just gonna talk about my dream wedding, and then we'll talk about my issues with weddings later. But yeah, so I put up those lights from City Living. You'll see in a minute. I just love how they look, and I don't use them enough, and I wish I used them more. Which I feel like about that by so many things in the build mode. It almost makes me wish I did more limited builds. Also, I'm thinking about doing a limited pack build soon, so let's see how that goes. Because, you know, if you watch my videos, you see I use like 800 million packs, and it's so bad because, you know, there's so many people out there who don't own all the packs, and, you know, they shouldn't. You don't have to own them all to enjoy the game. The game is so good even without all these other packs, but for me personally, I was like, I need them because I'm needy. And, you know, I shouldn't expect everyone else to have the same packs as me. But you see, here's the lights, and I just love lights. I wish the lights were white and not that, like, those pinky colors, but like that pink and yellow color. But they are from the Romance Day, or the Romance Festival, or whatever it's called. So like it kind of works with like the idea of weddings. But if I had it my way, it would have been all white, and that's because my dream wedding is a night wedding with lights like that all around, like little fairy lights. But yeah, so we have a wedding episode coming up soon. I'm not gonna tell you who it's for yet, but so you'll have to stay tuned if you're interested. As well as you can download this off of the gallery. My username is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I was an island before you came along. Put your boat in my sand, hand in my hand, your heart in my songs. I was a fighter, and I was so brave. But I lowered my sword when you held me and swore you'd stay, stay, stay. Oh, I can't do this alone anymore, 'cause I'm no did I do to deserve this? What did you do to me? Baby, come back, you know I don't wanna be free. I was a rebel, but I had a cause, till you came to town, pushed me around, showed me what love was. I was a wolf, dear, apart from the pack, but you answered my cry in the dead of the night, told me that you had my back. Oh.